I think he has to be level 2 in it though, because the Beastmaster board does count as a higher level creep at level 1. Because I think the creep is level 2 when he's level 1.
Still, that we haven't seen this hero in such a long time, mainly because the Enchantress is just the better version of the hero, but I guess they just want to secure this lane versus the Beastmaster a little bit more, but still, this is kind of a pick out of nowhere.
Yo, I mean, so far Undying has 2 picks from out of nowhere. I mean, I mean, I just haven't seen the Chen in ages. I don't remember how well they play, and I mean, Kunkka is such a great response to this because Kunkka could just cleave down the creeps at any point in time in a team fight, and it's just you throw out the boat, the Kunkka torrent, and the follow up with the damage, and like all of Chen's army is just gone. I mean, Lion also plays very effectively
10
against it
seconds
too.
remaining.
Well, and we've seen again, South America, they
5
really like
seconds
their Kunkka. We
remaining.
saw, I believe it was Alone was the other on Eagle Boys who was playing Kunkka the other day. And again, it's still a very strong hero. It still has its fantastic matchups. In that game, we saw it Shine versus Nyx Assassin just completely disemboweling that hero. But now, again, versus Chen,
Brilliant
it's great
team
versus the
battle.
summon units. And I was gonna say they didn't ban the Timber Saw, so this is going to be it's gotta be a Saberlight Timbersaw, and he's got quite the free lane. Think this does rotate everything down a level, though, unless we're going to see, a support Mars.
10
I mean,
seconds remaining.
so it's gonna be a Brile Mars, perhaps, versus the Kunkka? Or it could
5
even be a
seconds
Brile
remaining.
Timbersaw, and they swap up their lanes, but a
It might
Dying, I mean,
be the way I'm looking at it. You got the 5 Lena, the 4 Chen. It's gonna be safe
or
lane Tomato Mars because he's played those weird heroes before. He's done safe lane Viper.
well, and we'll see when Unknowns start banning out their heroes what they think Undying needs, but
Team battle.
yeah, and I mean they can really flex it, and it's a very flexible draft. But at the end of the day, you've got 4 strength heroes on Team Unknown, and you just got last phase Timbersaw. And again, it's the power of first pick. You're able to counter these at least 4 heroes on the enemy team. You get to see these matchups, and they don't really
10
care because
seconds
now
remaining.
Undying they will be playing up against last pick Unknown, but you
5
saved your safe
seconds
laner for the
remaining.
last pick. There really isn't that mic drop
Radiant
hero,
team
you
ban.
don't really want to run a Medusa, I think, in this game. And I mean, they're banning out Bloodseeker, they're banning out Troll, so they think that they need a Tomato hero on Undying, which makes sense, but still, it's I mean, Undying have I just feel like they've got the upper hand again in
10
this game.
seconds remaining.
Yeah, I mean the draft, the cores
5
at least
seconds
feel
remaining.
much more prominent, and it was like you're talking about. You got 3 strength heroes on the side of Unknown, and the Timbersaw got let out completely. Like Lion is probably still the current
Dire
only
team
answer
ban.
that feels good against the Timbersaw because it's just you can continually drain his mana, and Timber kind of needs that if he wants to get those kinds of kills. But then he's standing still. He could just get jumped on immediately by the Timbersaw, and he'll get Soul Ring as well.
Well, and they take out the Jug, and this is leaning more and
10
more
seconds
towards,
remaining.
I'm assuming, the Ursa. We're kind of funneling down that path, but
5 seconds
again, we're
remaining.
kind of running out of safe lane heroes. All of them have kind of been banned out by both teams. Again, we could also be seeing the Morphling, but we saw yesterday Morphling isn't the best hero to run versus the Lion, but Unknown could be looking to pick it up on their side. But again, it's not the best versus Lena. I'm kind of looking into
Radiant
the hero pool
team
and
pick.
wondering what they're going to pick. They ban out the Medusa, but I'm not sure what Undying really want out of their safe lane.
Even if that's their endpoint choice. I'm still leaning on the fact this could be safe lane Mars, but maybe it's mid
10
Mars.
seconds
Or maybe
remaining.
it's mid Lena and it's 4 Mars. We saw 5 Mars
Dire
yesterday. It
team
was
pick.
interesting, and it's gonna be Ursa. So it's mid Mars then? Or mid Lena?
I think it could be either, but unless they really want, like, for say, to get the Timbersaw versus Beastmaster matchup, which we saw was completely
10
one-sided, and it was the
seconds
same player
remaining.
playing it. It was Moon playing versus Tano, and he just
5
absolutely
seconds
destroyed
remaining.
that lane. It could be a mid Mars or a mid Timbersaw. Timbersaw is usually the hero you want to send versus the Kunkka, but and
Hmm.
there's the
Now
Morphling.
select your heroes.
Well, it was like you were highlighting it yesterday. It's not exactly one of the best heroes to kind of. Oh no, 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 no! Undying shouldn't have picked it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
that's what
I
you were
think that's
alluding
why
to.
they
This
did
is
go
better
for
than.
the Ursa. And it does feel good. It's a little bit risky versus the Lena. Again, it's for the same reason it's versus the line, just less so, where you have to worry about the A or the LSA when he does get that Aether lens. You do need to worry about he doesn't have the chest laser, but the Laguna Blade that comes out from that Lena, and it is an answer. Undying is very low lockdown, and Morphling does have sort of free time, but the cores on Undying are very beefy. They're very, very strong heroes that are going to need some. You're going to need some items to take it out. It's actually going to be Burna on the Kunkka. They're swapping around their heroes on both sides.
Yeah, mid Timber Saw versus
So it looks like
the
they
mid
don't want to
Kunkka
send the
then.
Kunkka. Yeah, it looks like they don't want to send a mid.
Or
They might send
oh
the
yeah.
Morphling mid versus Bryle. So these are some very wonky lanes.
Yeah, this has been quite topsy turvy. Overall, it feels. I mean, I feel like Timbersaw still has the advantage when it comes to mid.
Well, in the previous series, you even saw it was Saberlight that got kicked to 4 whenever Moon was playing his signature Timbersaw. But now, I mean, Brow's taking it up. He's not even getting countered. He's gonna have a just as good time versus the Morphling. But now you're gonna have this side lane Kunkka who's going to suffer a little bit for levels. And that lane is going to be very rough, I think. Moonmander is going to be constantly right-clicking you down, and there's always the fear of just getting speared because you're going to be constantly playing in the wave. I'm not sure. Again, I feel like Undying's got the leg up, even when they don't have last pick.
I mean, it's just kind of along the same lines that Undying might have a longer play experience. While I say that, though, there's a big Beastmaster.
Edgerkill, very big Beastmaster fan. And it kind of comes down to, I think, the experience from Undying. They've played versus a lot of these big teams where Unknown have played versus the best of SA. They've done the thing about SA is everybody takes games off everyone. I've been analyzing some SA DPC replays, and everybody kind of loses to everyone in a lot of these scenarios. And I don't know if that's because their drafts are just so much more varied that these teams aren't as experienced playing versus some of these hero comps, but it feels like Undying have this down to a science. And they are swapping their lanes. Yeah, Burna's got the side lane items, but I wonder if they're going to do something funky because you see Burna heading to the off lane right now if they want to lane up versus that Ursa, but then you're playing Kunkka versus Ursa. I feel like this Kunkka is really going to struggle to find a lane now.
Well, I don't want to be like walk into the jungle, but it's always the
Yeah,
jungle.
there is always the jungle, and he could just be rotating down there for the. We see these, very hefty rotations now that we do have the nighttime before the horn, but with this pause, I mean, nothing's happening right now.
Yeah, they want to get those. A lot of teams like to do either the first blood run ups, where it's the 4 and just run them down. But I know doesn't have like the best sort of lineup to get that run at them with first blood
It's really
ordeal.
just the boar. That's the strongest thing they have is boar into maybe a because you're gonna want to sculpt Tidebringer level 1. Oh,
Hmm.
some Discord issues.
Yeah, it seems Undying have the better run at them. One, I mean, what you get LSA. I mean,
It's really
Timber's
the
not going to be
spear.
there. Yeah, it's Spear, LSA. You could technically go Penitence if you want. I mean, it's only 18%, but it is bonus attack speed onto the target.
Well, and I wonder what Dubu will end up doing because before you saw Chen's literally just getting Divine Favor level 1 when the creeps changed so that they weren't spawning until the 1 minute mark. But the spell's been nerfed so much, I don't even know if it's good at this point. Because Hoist Persuasion, I think, is still, yeah, you can only get small creeps, and then I think you can get Centaur is the best large camp spawn at that point, because you can get him from the large, but it's still a medium camp spawn. But now, I still am very hesitant. I see some drawing on the map, looking like that's where they want to place their safe lane ward, and Moonmeander is going to have a very free time in the top lane to just right-click away at these unknown heroes. Looks like we got the G's coming out.
Yep, looks like the Discord is all cleaned and ready to go.
You're one of the good ones. I almost trust you.
Oh, I haven't actually seen this spear on Mars. This is not a new one actually. This is I use the immortal spear.
The Dire Tide set,
Yeah,
I
I've
believe,
got
is
the
where it's
set.
coming from.
I've never used the spear before.
The Trident looks quite powerful. I remember I can only use the default spear. If I ever use the Immortal, I just whiff all of mine. And they see Bryle mid, but I don't think they can make a play on him. He's not the target that they would want to kill. And they're hiding their lanes, actually. Tomato is really deep under his T1 here.
Yeah, they don't want to reveal that information right off the get-go too much.
30
It's more of
seconds
just
to
a... I mean, Tomato needs the ideal lane. Beastmaster is still not exactly one he really wants to go up against. And you can see that the Beastmaster, Drakeel, is hanging out in the mid to figure out...
And you see him sending his hawk. He just wants to. He doesn't want to end up laning versus Bryle, and they're hesitant because they haven't seen any heroes. I don't think they saw Bryle placing his ward mid either, because they could be flexing anywhere. And I think that's why they're playing so hesitant. And you just see Drakeel, he's not even running towards a wave. They want to scout the lanes beforehand because they don't want the situation where Beastmaster would be laning up versus that Timbersaw. But even when he goes top, I mean, he's going to have some issues.
Yeah, there's
And yet
just
Dubu
no
TP and bot.
information. Like, they've got nothing from this one. Their heroes didn't find anything. The closest they got is Lion, who's down here watching this boar get clicked on by Dubu here. And that's really the best information that they've got.
I think as soon as they see that there's going to be an Ursa versus the Kunkka, I can't imagine the Kunkka is going to want to stay down here, but there's not really a great lane for him to go to, so they might just end up tri-laning Tomato.
I mean, this is still an ideal lane for him. Unfortunately, both possible options weren't great, but this is the better one in tow here. Well, top lane.
At the same time, yeah, Drakeel.
Yeah, he's getting pretty low here. There is no... I mean, they're not level 2 yet, so no Spear or no Dragon Slave. But, I mean,
And
he's
this is
already at
the
no
issue.
HP. He's got no regen as well. Like, he's only got a Tango. He might be flying in salves the Courier, but this is a very slow Courier. It's not going to get there relatively quick.
Yep, and you see the boar having to be denied, and this is the power of the Lina that I was a little bit worried about, is Drakeel, there's no response. There's no rebuttal to this, and it looks like we're going to see just a sacked Beastmaster. At the same time, you're trying to sack Tomato, but I feel like he's still going to be able to eke out a little bit more in this lane, and I don't know if the trade for what Burna's going to get out of this trialing is really going to be worth it if they're not able to put a lot of pressure on Tomato.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's just going to be how many stun wombo combos can we get, and I mean, you can see that, like, they do have the damage to pour into him. It's just, it's very specific, and I mean, Tomato can just kind of kite around it, and as long as Chen is nearby and he has a good creep stolen, then they do that. But
Yep, top.
Moon Meander, they'll get this first kill in the top, and Wish
Oh,
actually
this is
keeps
bad.
the TP. This is really bad. Saberlight, he's got Spear up now, and Wish, he walks into the forest. Doesn't get skewered,
barely?
but
But he
Wish does
TP'd
have
up
boots
here.
one, but he gets hit with the LSA, and Saberlight will break him down with a nice double kill there. The God Rebuke.
And this is worst case scenario stuff because you TP in to try and save Drakeel. Now you've completely displaced Widge. He does have his boots, so he will be able to walk to whatever lane he wants, but now all of the pressure you were building up bottom is gone. With that TP, now the lanes feel just even worse.
Yeah, Tomato can kind of just walk over it now. You'd see that Chen's not even here
Oh,
anymore.
they stole the boar.
Oh, yep, there it is. That's the whole thing with the... This is basically where the Enchantress would have been in the scenario, right? Is that if Enchantress was in the pool, because I believe we saw it banned, right? Or was that game 1?
Yes, we did see it banned
Yeah, it was
first
first
phase in this game.
That's what I thought. So they banned that out first phase. This would have been the Enchantress, but instead it's Chen. And,
Well, and you
like,
see, they're so fluid with their heroes. Moonmeander already TP'd bottom just to give Tomato the support he needs. And now it's Chen versus Beastmaster, and you've already given Drakeel such a bad start. He's just walking to the wave. He's missing so much XP. He doesn't even have a lane to go back to. Unless Lion gets a pull-off.
I mean,
This
you
is
can see
really
him
feeling
poising
bad.
for the jungle already. This hurts so much for Unknown. Like, what are you going to be able to do to really take it back? And there's nothing they could do, because he knows that as soon as this Chen is in the lane, he's going to take that boar every single time. So he can't walk into the lane with boars, and he can't just exist. And I mean, we're talking about top and we're talking about bot, how crazy it's going. Bryle's walking over this mid.
And this is the issue. Even when you get the attribute shift off, he's going to continue to steal your agi, and that's the thing you need to be worried about. Yeah, he has 6 armor. He's not the Morphling we usually see. And he's just walking over. He has Bottle on RoboZ as well, but no supports are able to contest these runes because of how poorly the side lanes are going.
Beastmaster.
Oh, he got a courier mid as well.
Courier gets clipped, but I'm looking at Beastmaster, who is getting chased by Dubu so he could re-steal the board.
And they've got to do something. He just TP's bottom. He needs to find a lane, but it feels like they're losing so much XP and time whenever they make these big rotations.
That's Courier, though. Let's his Courier walk through the mid here. I don't know if that was the smartest of ideal plays, but I mean, Chen is just sitting here waiting to get some Beastmaster clicks onto RoboZ. Or Beastmaster, his board clicks. Down in bot, though, LSA goes out onto Burna. He's got a lot of stacks. The Dragon Slave goes through, and Tomato just jumps in there, and Prada, he's next on this to-do list. He doesn't have leap for 15 seconds. He leapt in to get this, and there goes the Penitence. And Tomato, they'll find the kill. A double kill for Tomato. This game is already quite south.
And I mean, we were hesitant about the Chen pick, but the way Dubu's playing it, he's making it look broken versus Beastmaster. He's mirroring the Beastmaster perfectly, and I don't know if it's just because Drakil's had such a rough start, but this is working out so well for Undying. And we see the core is just starting to pull away. We see the 6 and 2 on Drakil. It's feeling really rough.
Oh, I didn't even look at the CS. That hurts so much. And you know that 3 of those creeps were a jungle creep earlier. And he's just got no gold to his name. I'm going to switch I usually switch net worth a lot earlier now, and this feels like it's a good time to do it. And you see that Burna is the current lead of the net worth, but that might change as Moon Meander is here with the Spear and LSA follow-up. They do have Wish trying to come in there, and they will end up disengaging this fight. Not level 6 for both Moon or Saber. They can't quite get the kill. But he is the beefiest hero. Oh, hang on,
He's
LSA.
just getting his levels so fast. And you just see a level 4 Lina, a level 2 Lion, and it's just going to continue down this road. The hero that you propped up in this game was Burna, but whenever Bryle feels like it, he's going to rotate out of his lane. He's going to then make the Kunkka's life much harder. And I mean, already playing on this mid tower with the cart, there's not much they can do.
Moon Meander might actually be in trouble here. Torrent goes out onto him as well as the X mark to follow up, and they will be able to find the kill on Moon Meander. Saberlight not able to get there in time, but once again, they're going to take RoboZ's Courier and actually finds the Skewer for Lion.
Oh, goodness. And during all this time, Bryle's just been tanking for his creep wave here.
Bryle's just eating all of this damage. He's like, this game is, it's not lost yet, I would say, but it is it's a hard game to come back already with this laning phase being 6-1. And
well, and they need to keep doing that. They need to keep playing on Moon Meander. They need to keep playing on the weaker supports. And if they can get a few kills here and there, that's how they come back in XP. But again, we saw in the previous game, even when Unknown were able to punish the supports, the core just got away with a little bit too much, and that's kind of the strength of Undying. Their tri-core is something to fear. And they got Saberlight.
Well, they get Saberlight again. Or not again. They get Saberlight. He's up here on his own, though. He got picked off by a lot of people up here.
And that was the Burna hitting level 6.
Yeah, that'll do it. I mean, they need those abilities to try to get these team fights and kills, and that put a lot of gold change out here, but you could see that with this space, you know there's 4 heroes top, and sorry, 3 heroes top, and one who's still trying to win versus Bryle mid. That they're just going to continue to click this bot tower. They've even stolen the boar yet again. Like, this game, it's a hard one already. It's 7-8 minutes in. You've got your tier 1 tower already destroyed in the bot lane. One of your least important towers, but still a tower nonetheless.
RoboZ's getting clicked mid.
I mean, he's switched into full strength mode, though. He's sitting at 2.2 in the pocket. But back in bot, Drakil slowed up. He starts the TP, but the boar is there, as well as Moon Meander nearby to get the Dragon Slave finish off.
That wasn't too bright.
And Saberlight doesn't even mind dying top, just because now all the attention was brought there. Bryle and Tomato were just having a completely free time. And now this is the issue. We saw in the previous game, Unknown were able to punish whenever Undying were split, but now that they're together, there's no chance for them to really make a fight. supports are both not level 6. They both need to find a lane, and it feels like they're just going to continue to apply this pressure on the map, and I don't really know how Unknown are going to be able to contest. You see Robozy's just trying to pull the creep wave, but they don't care. They're just going to tank it up.
Yeah, I mean, you got the Timber. He's literally been tanking it the whole game. They
Well,
will
got
throw out a
Naked
boat
Saber.
and a good torrent, so Saber is going to end up going down here, but, I mean, that's the one trade you're getting. The tower goes down no matter what, and you see that this Timbersaw is trying to put out some damage here. They do have the X marks on Moon Meander. Moon actually is going to go
Good kill.
down here. No,
Oh, no.
Wand will save him at the last second there, but they find the kill on Prada as well as this Courier. Nope. Not going to end up getting it, though. Very low HP. One more click would have gotten it. And Bryle now sitting with no mana. Can get stun locked, but I don't think they're going to be able to kill him quite yet.
Every
Like,
single
this-
time they hit him, it's, yeah, he's just going to keep on getting stacks. They had a shot whenever he didn't have any stacks, but again, we're not even seeing Berna going for that Spirit Vessel, so this hero's going to continue to kind of ball out of control. And at the same time, Tomato's got free farm top. He's just happy as a clam.
Yeah, he left that mid engagement quite early. We saw that he was rotating out from the bot tower, and then after he got the bot tower, kind of hung out there for a little bit, and then he was like, this doesn't seem like somewhere I really want to be because I don't really care. So he TP'd to the top lane. He's been farming it since, and might be able to farm this Phoenix. He does have the leap, though, so likely able to jump out of that one. When and
If you're unknown, you don't want to TP up top to help him. He does have egg, so they might be able to bait an engagement, as Kunk is walking there too.
Meanwhile, they do find Dubu in the bot lane. Jakeel able to get the one-to-one trade here, but LSA actually landing, I think? No, what landed? He got
I think it was the
skewered.
spear. Yeah, it was the spear from Mars. And Jakeel has been able to recover. He's the one hero that hasn't been showing up because he literally can't. He's been able to get that Necro, so there is a little bit of hope for him. And getting that kill with the first roar, I mean, he's going to take whatever he can get. But, I mean, what this is looking like, yeah, gets the last hit on the tower. That's a 11-minute Battle Fury on Tomato.
Yeah, he's
He is farmed.
he's Tetra farmed. And, I mean, they can still make the recovery. Like, the game's not terribly lost. The laning phase, though, is the most important part in every Dota 2 game. But
Widge.
Widge is in trouble here, trying to find the stun, but Saberlight will cleave him down. The rebuke from the gods.
And maybe Saberlight gets punished again. They're looking for kills.
They might find Moon Meander first. They're not slowing him down is the thing, but now they find the X mark, so he is dead one way or another here, but Saberlight will be able to TP out with this knowledge. He TP's down to the mid, and you can see them drawing on the map immediately. They're like, all right, let's go for this very dead Beastmaster.
Oh, Bryle's
There's
just
no
going to
ward
get
that
him.
scouts it.
He's
Bryle
got to
opens.
TP out soon.
Oh, he doesn't have a Yules.
Got him.
Oh, he got him with enough trees that existed in the area there. Because, you know, the more trees around the Whirling Death, the more extra damage it does.
And Jakeel knew it was coming. He was just a little bit too low HP because he's having to tank the waves for his creeps so they don't die. And
Oh, mid.
the mud golems, they're so obnoxious.
Yeah, I mean, Dubu's got the army going. You've got your two boulders, and then, you know, when they die, you've got your 4 boulders. I remember seeing a YouTube video, I believe, of like Chen when he was still like the big shtick.
And Bryle.
They X-mark Bryle up here, and they do throw out a boat. This
It's
is
not
what
enough.
they need to do to get the kill, and Chen unable to save him there. Dubu's still burning away from this Phoenix Egg. He might not be able to escape this one as
Good morph.
Lobos turns into the Timbersaw. And, I mean, Dubu, he's got nothing.
And that's what they need to do. They need to use 3 ultimates, try to get a wave in, and then maybe make a play with your kill. If they were going to smoke, it would be soon to now. And they're trying to make a play now on these mid towers. Cleaning up these Chen creeps is quite important, though. Every single time you get the Chen, you never want to let the menagerie walk out.
Yeah, you don't like to lose the army very early here. And
Yep,
they
and there's
smoke
the
up
smoke.
immediately. They want to
They
get
get
this
Ursa.
jump on Tomato. Smoke
Oh,
is
it's
gonna break.
ruined.
Yeah, it's gone. I don't think there was a ward. No, they did. I think they might have got clipped by this ward here up on the hill. And they saw
Yeah, I
maybe,
see
like,
what you're
the
talking
2 or
about.
3 heroes that might have been here or here.
Dubu had a mud golem, a baby mud golem running interference as well. If they did break, then he might have been able to save Tomato, but it just wasn't even close, and he's just continuing to farm away.
Yeah, they sentry the hill. They knew. Or they know now.
Burna is getting quite powerful, though. He's got the BKB queued up, and he is continuing to farm up very nicely, but until they have that Necro 3, I feel like unless they dump everything, they're just running at him.
Smoked, by the way. They were trying to go for this kill, but they keep on just juggling Mars, and, you know, they'll just Laguna Matata. They'll get the kill on Wish.
And until that Necro 3 is up, they really can't mess with the Timbersaw. They're working on the Spirit Vessel on Phoenix, and unless they dump 3 ultimates like they did before, they just don't have the damage to kill Bryle. And I mean, he's got a Yule Scepter coming. That's going to break their combo even harder. And at the same time, Tomato's got a Blink Dagger on the way. He's going to start making an appearance in these fights, which is something he's so good at, knowing when to show up.
They do have the X Mark Boat Wombo, and they do roar him down as well. They're trying to deal damage, and it was like you were talking about, they need this 3 ulti game to do it, but the egg will get destroyed with Tomato coming in there, saving the life of Saberlight, of Bryle there. But Phoenix buys back immediately. Burna, I don't think he realizes he's at like no HP here, but Tomato himself getting pretty low here. He will go down. And they still can't get this Kunkka on the sidelines here. The Bryle is coming back in, trying to deal damage. Saberlight trying to find the rebuke, but actually couldn't land it. Toggling the armlet just in time there. And they actually are going to find Saberlight trying to play aggressive here. And they get this kill, and they might be able to find Moon Meander as well. Robo zips in. And he shifts and dies. And Laguna Blade goes out onto the Prada, and they will put some good damage in. And Wish is just going to go down to the Golem alone, but Bryle will come in for the finish off.
And that's what you always need to be careful about. Picking Morph versus these high burst damage heroes, you just don't see it coming. But other than that, I mean, that was a picture-perfect fight. The only issue was that they started on the Timbersaw when he had stacks. And that was the big difference between that and the pick bottom, where Bryle was just a little bit too tanky. That he didn't even have his Yules when that encounter broke out, and it just took so much. It's unfortunate Tomato wasn't able to blink out of the X marks, but they used all their ultimates. I mean, he's going to walk over to the pit. He's going to try and take it.
He's got no lifesteal, and Chip Vest isn't really going to help him there. But now with Dubu here and the continual amount of stacks, yeah, it's a free Roche for sure. Bot lane.
It's unfortunate they weren't able to take it before that, but yeah, Burna.
Yeah, they throw out the arena. They throw the X mark and the boat, and the torrent's already expended, so I think that's just going to amount to nothing. And in fact, Bryle might have been trying to farm stacks, I guess.
I mean, the main cast, they were smoked up. They were really trying to get bottom. If they got there a little bit sooner, there might have been a fight, but now they're just going to continue to move in on these towers. Oh, if they're looking for Dubu, but
Saberlight, he's there. I mean, they wanted to get Dubu really bad there, maybe put some of the Chen army down. Actually, the Chen does not have an army. I don't know where the Mud Golems went.
They're mopped up by Drakeel. The Drakeel summons are just slightly stronger when he's around, but
they X-mark Bryle and they egg up the high ground. It's not really going to land on anybody, though. Everyone's really able to disengage that one. And they're probably going to re-engage this. Saberlight with his Blink Dagger available. They'd have to time it right on Robo Z, and they do get the skewer immediately, and Tomato jumps in there. They drop the roar, but Robo Z, nope, not quick enough. Laguna Matata, they'll claim the kill. They want to go for Jakeel as well. The LSA with the God's Rebuke, they'll find this kill out onto the Beastmaster. Meanwhile, Bryle in the mid trying to put some pressure out onto Prada. He's going to try to get the chase. The Yules goes out. He has Leap in 13, so he can't really jump away from this one. And I mean, Prada's just going to die to slow insidious damage. Tomato comes in for the cleanup.
Oh, and again, we field the Lina versus Morphling matchup where you just don't have enough time. You need to be low agi so that way you can do damage in these fights. That was his Ethblade reveal. But at the same time, starting that fight off with the bad egg, Burna just didn't have the torrent. They were going to try and chain down Bryle, especially because he didn't have stacks, but
Saberlight jumping up to the top lane, trying to get this kill on Wiz. They find the Hex, and he'll have a stun in 2 seconds, but Saberlight will get it before that. But with that being the case, well, I wasn't going to say they might be rotating in to maybe put some damage to the mid heroes, but it's hard for their heroes to run at them. Both your supports are dead. Beastmaster War is already expended. Kunkka can't really just run at people, and ooh, they dropped the scan and found somebody there for a split second.
They do
find Bryle, though, but they don't find Bryle. Bryle, really hard to get on top of him, too.
And they're so scared of Tomato engaging on him. They see with the Hawk that everybody is here. It's just barely, there's no sentry to really see that. They do whiff it just a little bit, but they don't really care. Everybody sees everyone here, and Dubu might die.
Yeah, he is X marked up. The Torrent's going to follow. He gets hit with the shotgun. RoboZ will go down. That is the E-Blade reveal, but Tomato gets perma-stunned, but not really as the Laguna Blade goes out, and they find this kill on Burna. The boat goes through, which will delay inevitable deaths. But Wiz is going to be hit by this, but the roar on the back lines, though, they do end up roaring Moon Meander, but at what cost? You lose Wiz, and you might fall yourself, as the slow is going to be there from the Chakram. Saberlight looking for the ideal spear. He's looking for the angle. The Aegis expended, though. Does get hit by the shotgun from RoboZ there, but they're going back into the mid. The Yules is going to be there. Jakeel is just straight dead. There's nothing you could do about this one. RoboZ hanging out in the backlines, though. They are burning a lot of HP on Undying's heroes. Yeah, but it looks like that's just it.
And he still needs to be scared. He can still very easily die if he does get skewered into the trees, and it feels so hard for them to take a fight. They did take the Aegis out of the hands of Tomato. He does need to be careful when he engages, but even there you saw the hesitation. Oh no!
RoboZ again! Yep, he'll just get picked. And that's the thing is that Morphling doesn't like just getting stunned like this, man. It's... Oh, hang on, though. They might be able to find
maybe
this...
with the burn?
This Brile here, but nope, Prada goes down. Saberlight, just from the burn damage alone from the arena. And they wanted to try to go on Jakeel. Tomato actually eats the Dagon creep. That is a Mach 3 Dagon. Mach 2, actually, never mind.
And they will get Saber.
Yeah, Saber in a really unescapable position. However, Dubu does manage to get the heal out. The X mark is there. You see Brile from the low ground, though. He tried to find the tree, and immediately Tomato jumps in. He's disarmed. But it doesn't even matter. Wiz can't escape that tornado, just putting him at 0 movement speed. And it's just unknown. They're losing heroes left and right, one by one, ninja style.
And they're just barely not mobile enough. You see their best controlling spell is X marks, and he just, again, he didn't have Torrent. He wasn't able to chain it up with himself, so he has to bring him back into the Earth Spike. But it feels like they just have, their heroes are they're so strong on the team of Undying. And now BKB's coming out for Saberlight. BKB's coming out for Tomato. He already has it, and then the fight's going to feel even worse because you've been stunning Tomato every single time he jumps in, but now with the BKB, you're going to have to roar him, and you don't want to be using your roar defensively like that.
Yeah, they need to be using roar for those insta jumped kills that we've been seeing quite often as soon as the Mars arena goes out. Get that the egg and the follow up, but there's no room for that anymore. It's that window to even use their combo is gone.
Oh, Jakeel.
That just lost all of his HP in literal seconds and will get skewered to the tree line there. Tomato jumps in with the BKB, and this is the scenario where they would have to use roar defensively, but the man is dead.
They have to egg, but
yeah, they drop the egg, but Tomato with the BKB live, like, they'll get this egg uncontested.
And while that was your 10-second, I mean, you're completely fine with that. If anything, you're just buying time. They might not break high ground until the next Roche, but they really can't fight you. And now Saberlight, I mean, he's 400 away from his. Brile's working on a pipe of his own, and it's so difficult for Unknown to find these aces in the hole. Because before, you could maybe kill them if you dropped your ultimates on everyone, but we're getting out of that stage of the game, and the net worth lead they've built up on Undying it's starting to become a mountain.
Speaking of which, Undying, they actually smoked up the other side of the map, and I mean, they go immediately for Wish. I think if they held the smoke, though, they could have gone for this Morphling. Oh, I say that, though. RoboZ's still lining up. It's 27 seconds until the arena. He finds the skewer on the one tree that would have done it. But they're buying time here. The E-Blade is still alive, so he could always just E-Blade himself.
Well, and that's the issue. Not even with this Morphling pick, but just with the way the game is going, where if you constantly have to attribute shift to strength just so you don't die to this Lina, then you're not doing the most damage. And they might get a freebie on Dubu.
Yep,
but
they are
the support's
rotating up
coming.
there, but you do see that Saber TP's in and skewers this Kunkka to the low ground. The burn damage is going to be there onto the Chen, so the Dubu will go down. No buyback needed, and Laguna Matata goes out. RoboZ, though, is able to sustain it for the time being, switching into strength, while Moon Meander getting slowly picked off, purged immediately by Jakeel. They will be able to find the kill on Prada. Still finding the kill on Moon Meander, however. Jakeel will fall as well. They wanted to really get RoboZ there, but they just couldn't output enough damage, and Robo Z, I'd be careful about shifting even now.
Well, and you see in the fight, similar to what we saw yesterday with Alone, he doesn't want to be forced to shift full strength. Oh, it's so strong.
Yo, I talk about it, and I see it every time we're in one of these games, and I never, like, just read over the ability, because it's just such a weird ability to see, because there's no actual graphic for Flamethrower. He just kind of does
This
it.
kind of happens,
It's like
yeah.
the equivalent of, like, Clockwork Jetpack. It doesn't actually change anything that Clockwork looks like visually. He, like, suddenly just has exhaust flames coming out of his back, and he's up in the sky. It's pretty much the same thing. He's venting his exhaust through a frontal pipe.
When I remember whenever Leicester would become the ancient black dragon and he would put his own little macro pyres on the map, but nobody would really put any thought to it until they were in the actual pool of fire, and then they were dying to this Lifestealer's radiance. But
Right. They were dying to
they've got the
Lifesteal the
smoke.
Radiance, Pudge walking around with the morphling.
Oh, they're going too far.
Yeah, they blink in immediately. A good double arena. They do drop the roar, but it was literally for 0 duration. They buy back on the Phoenix, but it's going to be too little too late as 2 more of Unknown's heroes drop. The perfect arena, and like you were saying, they were getting a little bit too close, and that DD rune unaccounted for as well.
Dire's top tower
And they just pop double BKBs, and the fight's so simple for them.
X
Oh,
marks
Brow with the
Saber.
blink too.
Yeah, Bryle jumps in there with the blink.
Oh,
in.
it doesn't have, it's just Timber Chain. Just Timber Chain.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, it's basically blink. Why not? It's tree reliant based Timber Chain.
But with this lead, I mean, it's feeling really difficult for them to find any opening. And he blinks in with Tomato. They have to put all of the focus onto him. They don't even get the Phoenix egg off. I think he was the one that was initially jumped by Saberlight, and these team fights are just so dominating from Undying.
Well, there is
maybe. There's no
X-Mark
BKB.
torrent combo. Yeah, he's getting pretty low here,
Oh,
but the deal is
Dubu.
going to be there. And Wiz unable to find the follow-up damage. And I mean, Dubu playing it smart, holding on to that hand of God, and just getting it just in time. Bryle might be in trouble, though. The torrent goes
With the
up.
shift.
He's got no stacks available at the moment. Only 11. Does have a Bloodstone, though, if he really needed it. And the Yule's saving him for quite some time there. However, Saberlight, not in the same scenario. We'll drop the arena immediately, just walk out. He's perfectly fine. Ursa comes in. They clean up house. You see Berta trying to pump his spells, but standing there in fear and faith. Laguna Blade goes out. They'll find this kill. And just like that, Undying will take another
GG.
4 heroes, and the GG will be thrown out by Unknown. A dominating game number 2. And a great finisher to the series.
This is an incredible performance, both games from Undying, where they were just able to play so much pressure in these lanes. And if anything, I think more so it shows that Undying have a really good captain. They've got a really good head on that shoulder. If anything, I think both games can be summed to a very simple outdraft. I feel like Undying really had the grasp and the depth in their hero pools to really pull whatever they wanted out of their hat. And we've seen them playing, especially in the group stage, a lot of Mars, a lot of Enchantress, a lot of samey heroes. But at the same time, when they're really up against the wall, able to pull out pretty much whatever they want to play.
I mean, it felt very much like watching the Fear game 2 days ago. Like
The
a
Pentace.
hero that I have never seen in my lifetime in a very long time pulled out of their meta and absolutely dominating with it. And it's the same scenario here. And I think that the biggest thing that Unknown really didn't account for when they actually first phase banned that Enchantress was that they do actually have a Chen player. And since they opened with the Beastmaster in first phase, like the Chen was an opening that they could have had a good time for. And if anybody remembers, I think at any TI, that Chen was always sort of like that niche ban that people always ran up against, like Puppy and those kinds of teams. Of course, we're not in that region, but it's the sample size that there are players out there that could still play Chen, and on a pinch, it can be still a very scary thing to see.
Well, even in the draft, it felt like Unknown did have those rebuttals. They did have these heroes that, in theory, felt good, but having the first pick, being able to last pick the Timber, I mean, we just saw no hero wanted to lane anywhere. Every hero was under pressure by the opposing lane, and the early game was played picture perfect by Undying. They were really without flaw.
Well, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of this best of 2 series. As you can see, Undying have taken the 2-0. But there is another series after this. We actually have 3 total series left over in our day. And next we have SG Esports versus Team Infamous. It's going to be another one of the spicy ones. I feel like these teams, both this series and the next series, are on equal footing when it comes to their play style and picks and all their higher tier players. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We'll have that series for you right around the corner.